is up, Cage Nation? It is Kevin Jackowitz here with the Cage Review, and we are looking at SmackDown for February 6, 2018. Coming off the heels of what I thought was an okay show, I'd give it a 5 out of 10 at best. We're moving into WrestleMania, and my hopes are big that they're going to put on a really good show. And that they're going to start to really develop the storylines that are going to lead directly into WrestleMania. So let's get into that. The show starts off with Shane McMahon and Daniel Bryan. Shane McMahon's in the ring first, brings out Daniel Bryan. They're talking about his decision to give Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens yet another chance at the world title. And they're kind of doing a back and forth, and then AJ Styles comes out and says, you know what, guys? I'm a fighting champion. I really don't care who I fight. But every time you guys get on this Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn kick, I'm the one who suffers for it. And he's like, you know what? Do me a favor and just stay out of it tonight. So that's where the opening begins and ends. Then you have a backstage bit with the New Day. They have a few of these. Really kind of pointless bits, honestly. I honestly didn't find them very funny. They were supposed to be comedy, but didn't really work for me. They were making jokes about Corey Graves and his heat with Booker T, supposed heat anyway, which a bunch of people just fell right into, which I thought was funny. And then you go to commercial, and then you come back, you're backstage with AJ Styles. Nakamura walks up to him and says, I'm going to beat you at WrestleMania. So kind of trying to get a bunch of digs in there from Nakamura, building up a little bit of friendly tension between the two because, they're both faces, they both respect each other. But of course, competitively, they both want to win. So, decent there. And then you have your first real match of the night, which is Liv Morgan versus Charlotte Flair. This is coming from the Riot Squad, jumping her last week. Charlotte comes up with a clean win over Liv Morgan. It was a pretty good match. Decent, for sure. Liv Morgan, I haven't seen a lot of, so she's definitely holding her own in there. So that's cool to see that they're still bringing in women that can actually wrestle and, are not just another pretty face. So that's cool. Very, very cool. After that, Renee interviews Kevin Owens. She's asking him how he thinks the relationship between him and Sami Zayn is going to continue on, considering they have to face each other for a world title match later. And then Kevin's response is, you should ask Zayn that because you're going to have to find out how he feels after I beat him. Owens is always good with promos. He's always been able to talk really well. So I do appreciate the fact that they're relying on him to carry the promos. And it's building up, the crack in the friendship there. So that's going to be very interesting. And then another situation where the Bludgeon Brothers have a match with a couple of absolute nobodies, faceless guys that nobody cares about. And I said in my last review how I'm really not excited about building up a couple of guys, whether they're new or just have a new gimmick, by giving them a bunch of nobodies week after week after week. It does nothing to build them up. It is not going to get us to care. We don't know who these guys are. They weigh about $150 a piece, maybe. We already know it's going to be a squash match, so what's the point? There is none. You're not building up a good character. You're not building up a destructive force. You're building up a who cares about this team is what you're building up. And WWE just doesn't get that. So, didn't care. At the end of the match, the Usos come out to do another promo. This is just before commercial, and you get a stare down between the Bludgeon Brothers and the Usos. The Usos walk right around them. The Bludgeon Brothers walk back up the ramp. So not much there. Usos cut another promo, and the week before they did the lockdown promo, which I thought was pretty good. This one I didn't think was nearly as good. Not at all. And the Usos, they are good at promo work. Like I said last time, they have a really good way of expressing themselves and connecting with the audience. But this one, compared to last week, just kind of fell flat for me. So then we get into the match that started last week with the Fatal 4-Way between Rusev, Jinder Mahal, Kofi Kingston, and Zack Ryder. Rusev wins this 4-Way and now gets a chance to face Bobby Roode for the United States belt. And it was honestly, I don't want to say surprisingly good match, but it was a good match. It was a really good match. A lot of good points in it. And I'm really, really happy that they gave Bobby Roode the clean win over Rusev. Bobby Roode, I think, is very deserving. Rusev, I like Rusev, but when compared to like Bobby Roode, you know, a guy who has really pushed the limits, you know, I just think Roode is deserving. And, you know, that's just how I feel about it. The guy busts his ass for sure. And then you come to a segment backstage where you have the Fashion Files board, except this time it's placed in the middle of the hallway, and you see Shelton Benjamin and Chad Gable. The camera zooms away from the board, shows them, and they keep talking about how all these tag teams in the SmackDown tag division are making the tag division a joke. You know, the Fashion Files and the Ascension joining that, and the New Day being all comedy. And they're continuing on with their "we're here to make the tag team division serious again." So that leads right into Shelton Benjamin and Chad Gable versus the Ascension. The Ascension, I don't know, like it was a decent match. I would have liked to have seen more good spots from it, but again, Shelton Benjamin and Chad Gable walk away with the win. So they are definitely building up this team. And, you know, going back to the Bludgeon Brothers and how they're not really doing anything with them, they're feeding them a bunch of nobodies. On the opposite end, this is how you build up a team. You give them teams that everybody knows. You've got, like, they faced, I think it was the Usos, and now they're coming back, Breezango, and the Ascension. These are teams people are familiar with now, and they're getting the clean wins. That's how you build up a tag team. So I do like where they're going with that. And then you go back to another backstage bit with the New Day. Just falls flat for me. Sorry. I usually like the New Day a lot. So don't get me wrong there. Usually, I think that, you know, the New Day are absolutely great. And sometimes, you know, it's just like, I don't know, if you run out of material or, you know, it's just a little bit stale or whatever. But at points now, it's just getting a little bit too corny and not funny. So that's how I feel about these bits the New Day keep bringing up in this show in particular. It's cool to give them screen time, but it's not really working to their benefit. So after that, Renee interviews Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn is saying that he's ready to step out of Kevin Owens' shadow and do his own thing. And kind of a good promo for about, you know, the match that's about to happen. Really glad that they're, you know, giving Sami Zayn this, because I don't care if people think he looks like an Uber driver or not. The guy is damn good in the ring, and he's working on his promos, okay? I mean, honestly, he's had a couple of decent promos lately, whereas before he wasn't doing decent promo work at all. So I'm wondering if Kevin Owens is really helping with that. So it's really cool to see. And that leads right into the Kevin Owens-Sami Zayn match, which had a lot of good spots. Really good match. At the end, AJ Styles is sitting at ringside. He's doing commentary. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are fighting out at ringside right in front of him. Sami Zayn starts talking all kind of smack to AJ Styles. AJ Styles says, you know what, screw this. Starts whooping on both of them, double disqualification. So Daniel Bryan comes out and says since AJ Styles is a little overzealous, they don't have a winner, it's now going to be Owens and Sami Zayn, this time in a triple threat match for the title at the Elimination Chamber. So that's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. It pits Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens against each other again. So there's still a lot of potential for that friendship to fracture. And you would like to think that they're going to give the win to AJ Styles, because if they're doing this just to do a face-heel match at WrestleMania, I'm going to be sorely disappointed. And unfortunately, WWE has a tendency of doing stupid shit like that, where they just decide that, you know what, we need to have a face-heel match instead of an actual good as match as possible match. And so I'm really hoping that AJ keeps the belt and the friendship between Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn is fracturing. I hope that's what's happening. Because honestly, if that leads into another Owens-Zayn match at WrestleMania, these two have put on amazing, amazing matches throughout their career together. If you look back at their NXT days, Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens put on some of the best matches in that whole, era. So I'm really hoping that that's the direction they're going, which would be AJ Styles, Nakamura, and then Owens versus Zayn at WrestleMania. I think that would be two matches that I would be sold on WrestleMania right away. Hopefully that's what they're doing. But that was the end of the show, and a little bit better than last week. I think they are building up to the friendship fracture there. I do like that. Don't know what they're doing with Charlotte and the Riot Squad. I guess that's going somewhere, but, don't know yet. So that's my thoughts on it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you like the review, hit the like button, subscribe, and share. My name is Kevin Jackwitz. Cage Nation out.
Do it! Just